So I'm not really happy because it's raining outside and I can't work on the boat. So anyway, I'm gonna make a floating camera rig so that once the boat's gone, I'll be able to get some epic fishing, squidding, etc. shots. And let's go. This is the floating camera rig version 1.0. Pretty simple. Pool noodles, keep everything afloat. Aluminium bar separates the two floats and provides a clear view for the cameras. The requirements are that it can hold two cameras, one for under the water, one for above the water. It needs to have some tethers here to tie to the camera so that you don't lose your camera if something goes wrong with the thread or the mounts, which I'll show you later on, but that actually happened. You can see the cracks in that. But basically got them spaced apart, roughly 50 centimeters between the floats, half a meter, so that the camera gets when the camera's in the water, it gets a clear view unobstructed. And then I've got the top pole a fair bit higher so that it's got, because you get a lot of, out on the ocean, you get a lot of splash and that kind of thing. So I wanted it to be up a little bit so it gets a clearer view of the boat. Aluminium, stainless, basically everything, trying to minimize the corrosion on the fixings. But as you can see, it's pretty basic. I'll just run you through now how I put it together. So you start with a pool noodle, $2 from Kmart, and cut it into a 40 centimeter length. You'll need 2 of them. And get some aluminium rectangle tube from Bunnings, that size. You only need about 60 centimeters. Drill a hole through the tubes that you just cut at the 20 centimeter mark, so halfway through the pool tube. And then that's just the hole that I drilled through to match the bolt size. Get something hot and heat up the end of your 60 centimeter aluminium piece, and then push it through the side of the pool tube perpendicular to where you just drilled the holes. So the hole's on the top, and at 3 o'clock the bar will be pushed through like that. Have a guess where the bolt's going to go through and mark it, and then just adjust it as you need be until the bar sits central in the tube. And then drill the ends of the bar. And then put some bolts and washers through, and that should start coming together now. You're going to need some 1/4 inch threaded rod, which you can get from Bunnings or your hardware store. Just make sure it screws into your GoPro gear. And drill a hole in the middle of the bar and feed it through and put some nylock nuts onto it. Sometimes it's hard to thread the nylocks onto the threaded rod, so wrap some tape around so that you don't wreck the thread, and then use some pliers to hold it while you thread the nuts onto the rod. And that's pretty much it finished. You've got some little tether points there that you just screw into the aluminium. Just drill a little pilot hole and screw them in, and then you can run a lanyard from them to your camera so that you don't lose your camera if something happens. And you want to check, depending on what kind of camera you got, that you've got a clear vision unobstructed of what you're trying to record. The idea is you attach some fishing line, which I just use a hand line, to either side of these floats, or you can run a bridle that runs from one side to the other, and then you run that bridle back to your boat. Because boats are always drifting, the bridle pulls tight and stays sort of at float level, so it doesn't obstruct the bottom camera, and you can barely see it on the top camera as well. And then you float it out, maybe 5 meters, 10 meters from your boat, so it's not in the way of you fishing, and then you get the footage you want. If you want to see the footage in action, just hit subscribe. I've got a little series called the Tinny Chronicles, where we fish off the coast of Western Australia, and you'll be able to see some footage of this rig in action, bringing up fish in the future. Anyway, thanks for watching and please subscribe.